This is now the second part, so we got to do this in parts. Part 2 of this wonderful thing. The getting the neutral switch out, a little bit of a challenge, even with that wrench. You got to get it out. And when it's in the bike, what did Luciano say? You had to take the tire off the bike or something to get the switch out?
He had to get his...
He had to replace that already. Yeah, it's crazy.
That switch.
Anyway, so here we are later in the day with, you know, as the WWF comes to town, he's getting ready to audition for them here. I can take a Ducati motor out barehanded. Nobody can touch me. I'm Superman.
Brushing away.
Anyway, he spent a good with the wire brush and the hand brush. He got, what, a good, what do you think? Legit 2 hours?
Couple hours, yeah, definitely a couple of hours. Yeah.
The grass will never grow in that part of the world again. We put down 2 towels, which now are somewhere in the local dump. 2 towels full of diesel fuel.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the back of the motor right there, that is so clean compared to
this here is whistle clean.
That is, yeah.
Whistle clean. That's amazing. Anyway, this is the second, and I wanted to get at least one really good picture of Glenn here, that so he could put on his YouTube site that he's now an official Ducati mechanic. And all the guys that have never had this wonderful experience of pulling out an engine and hanging out with Luciano for a day and working in my garage under extreme conditions. But yeah, as we're laughing about this, we put down a rubber mat because there's still got to be some oil in there somewhere. And as we put the engine down, a gallon of antifreeze comes out on the rug.
Which didn't move while we were
There was no air. No. As soon as you put it down on a clean rug, bloop, bloop, bloop. Unbelievable. Anyway, we go back, and I wanted to shoot some more pictures of this because what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to spend a day cleaning these parts, polishing the frame a little bit, clean up all these connectors that need cleaning.
14 years of grime in there.
Oh, how old's the bike? 14 years?
14 years, yeah.
Well, and what did you say this was? It had a nice toolkit, by the way. That was pretty cool. What is in here?
That's the electronic brain. Yeah, that's what
a Ducati brain looks like.
That's what it looks like. And if you break that seal, I guess it voided some type of warranty issues.
Oh, you can't get in and tell it to do stuff.
I would imagine.
Now, another thing we always look back. We got the parts as they came off, which really not important, but the bolts in all little dedicated containers with a little note in them. And the biggest thing that I know Glenn is happy about, because when he came over the day after we shot this, he came over and he looked like he had a good night's sleep. You sleep well knowing that engine's all cleaned up like that.
Yeah.
Even now, what we wanted to add though is we're going to take this to a welder that Luciano knows. I don't know for sure if he's going to be able to weld this or suggest doing something else. But I've already started to engineer up a fix for this in my mind in case this can't be welded, which we may not even have to share, because if he welds it and if it holds, we're home free all. But I did want to take this, and if he says this can't be done, and I think this happens because this bolt broke from vibration, and then this rocked. This is doing a rocking, and it broke the 2 ends away. The way that cracked.
Yeah. So all you really got holding on to point out is that rear side and the front side, and that's all that's holding that motor in the frame right there, with the other pieces attached to it.
But the thing is, the bolt is going through the frame, but because it's loose, it only has to move a couple of thousandths, and it lets it beat itself to death.
Yep.
It's either got to be tight, and in other words, it can't be rubber mounted. It can't be that this is jiggling and joggling and everything. When he welds this piece back on, and if you tighten this, it may be that you've eliminated the problem. I don't know. But if we put that, I was thinking of taking a piece of aluminum tubing, splitting it in half, and putting a product called Marine Tex that's good for doing this kind of work. A real expensive high-tech epoxy. Grind this down ever so slightly and put a half-moon cap around the whole thing, which we'll see when the guy welds it, and we hope we can get some pictures of him welding. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. But if you can imagine up to this point, and this is the second of our great adventures here, the second little video of our great adventures. This, I would say, honestly and truly, as long as you have some idea of what you're in for, there was no part of this that was undoable. I mean, I don't have any of the special tools. We got to make that one special tool. Was there any part of this? And if you do it, don't even think about doing it without 3 guys or some way of holding the engine up. The biggest part of this whole thing is when you let go of the 3rd bolt and the swing arm's not attached, you got to be able to hold the engine or you're going to drop it right on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that looks daunting, it's not just taking the bolts out of the motor and dropping the motor. It's all the connections, all the hoses, all the wiring, and everything that goes to it. But once you really get a clear picture of what it is that's entailed in it, it's really not that much.
But the things that make it doable, I think, even for low experienced mechanics like us, is have a bunch of these little tubs, or in worst case, sandwich bags, and keep everything together, like exhaust system bolts, the fuel injection bolts, the kickstand bolts.
Well, I like the fact that as we're going to put it back together, we're going to start right at the front of that picture and work our way back.
And eat it up going backwards. And the last thing, of course, is you'll have to take it home and put the bodywork. Glenn had another idea. While we got it apart, if he brings the bodywork over, I can take the buffing wheel. A lot easier to do it on that table than when it's on the bike.
Sure is.
We can buff those parts up like a mirror. And again, the only part of it that I would be totally intimidated with if we had to take some of this fuel injection apart, because boy, when I looked at the manual for the R1, the things that could go wrong with fuel injection are mind-boggling, mind-boggling. But and then I bet you it's $1,000 to replace that too. Might, you know, 800 or $1,000 to get a new one. So that's the one thing I didn't want to touch. But anyway, we're gonna end this. This is part 2, the end. Just look at the smile on this guy's face. Check that smile out. Look at that smile.
Wait till you see the smile when we hit the starter button.
Now, there's only one thing better than a smile when you do this. The day he starts it, pulls out of the driveway and drops it. And then we got to repaint the fairings. Maybe part of the next video, who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching.